Plaza, but back here to McCovey Coast, but it looks like it's headed on toward Justin Herman Plaza. Do you have any information on that?
At this point, my information about the closing ceremony is
You know what? We can't hear.
You know what? You're hearing a lot of wind in the background because obviously it's very windy in San Francisco, but we're looking at a live shot once again up from our torch cam of two new runners taking this torch down Van Ness.
Okay,
and
right,
Bay,
yeah.
I believe.
And now they are at Bay. And Van Ness and Bay, yeah, still on Van Ness, but approaching Bay. So the question is, will they be turning on Bay? Okay, Joe Rosado, our producer, is at the site. Joe, does it look like they're going to head up Bay?
It's hard to say right now. It's hard. Police are lined on both sides of the street, but it's hard to tell which way they're going to go, really. The hundreds of students, this is right here at Galileo High School, which is right on the corner. So hundreds of students from the school are now lining the sidewalks over here watching. There's people from the neighborhood. There's, a few of the protesters have made their way over here, and there's lines of motorcycle police, and it's quite the scene, a lot different than what it looked like on Embarcadero with flags waving, and this is just people from the neighborhood who just have mostly come out to see this going by.
Joe, do you see any sign of protesters out there?
There are a few. There's a few scattered flags. In fact, I'm looking back. I see a single Tibet flag flying. There's a few signs. There's no signs of the
We're looking at one right
flags
now.
of China flying here. There's nothing like that. But I see the buses are coming right towards me right now. There's a motorcade of police choppers right in front of them. Really cool scene, actually.
We see some of the Tibetan protesters, one waving a flag, getting close, but not too close to that torch run right now, walking along the street following this route as well.
Yeah, it's hard to see any of that from where I am. I'm right here on the intersection of Bay and Van Ness. We're right in the median, and a big line of police motorcycles have just pulled up. It looks like they're trying to clear the road here, but it's still really... I still have no idea where it's going to turn once it gets to Bay
So the possibility exists that it could turn on Bay. If it does continue up Bay, they could make a decision to go down Columbus Avenue, which would put them very close proximity, at least, closer to Justin Herman Plaza on the backside. Or they could continue up Bay Street and go opposite way on the Embarcadero and end up on Justin Herman Plaza.
We have Kathy Kirtland on the torch convoy right now on the phone with us. Kathy, thanks for joining us. What do you know so far, and what are you looking at?
Going down Van Ness, and we just passed Greenwich on Van Ness, and there's just so many cops out here. It's unbelievable. There's a few signs that have free Tibet, but the crowd is just energetic and it's really something. It's really a scene. It's really amazing.
We imagine so. We also have NBC 11's Rogge Mathai. He just boarded a bus. He's on the phone with us as well. Raj, what's happening with you at this point?
Well, I'm finally on the bus. The CHP rushed me through the streets of San Francisco, and I expect to be running in about 5 minutes from now. We just turned off Van Ness onto Bay Street. I don't know if you can see me on the bus.
We are looking at the torch cam right now. We have the runners that have the torch right now in the flame. We don't see the buses if Chopper 11 could pull out. There we go.
Raj, have they told you where they're going to drop you off? Have they told you what your route is, your 2 blocks or your block and a half?
You know what? My original route was to be among the first 17 runners, but since I was detained in a sense over near the start of the race with Lily Brown, they're just putting me near the end of the route right now. So I expect to be probably the last runner or probably the second to last runner.
Have they told you where exactly that's going to be?
I'm not sure. I can kind of give you a play-by-play as the bus starts to move, but right now we're in stop-and-go traffic. But I expect to run. There's only 3 more torchbearers in front of me. We need on this bus. They have all the torches here laid out for us and kind of instructing us what to do. But like I said, I should be running in about 5 minutes from now.
We're looking at our ground torch cam right now where we're seeing one of the Tibetan supporters waving his flag. Do you see any supporters where you are at this point on the bus?
Right now, we have been taken totally off on some back streets. I'm very familiar with the city, but I don't even know where we are right now. So there's not many people that are expecting us to go by. And this was a kind of an element of surprise to stay away from any problems. I see some residents looking out their balconies wondering what the heck is going on, and they see the Olympic torch right in front of them.
You hear a lot of hooting and hollering on the bus. Who else is on the bus there with you?
I'll go on the top. No, I'll go with someone else.
Can you hear us? Yeah. I think Raj is getting ready to do his part in the torch run.
Just so you figure out where we're at and where we're going right now, they are right now on Van Ness, passing Lombard. So Cow Hollow, the marina, will be on one side of them. Then you've got North Beach, Telegraph Hill to the east, and they are heading north down Van Ness, possibly turning at Bay, possibly turning at North Point, which would put them in that whole aquatic area, maritime. You know, if you think about it, this is very near the backside of Fisherman's Wharf they're approaching, where you know, San Francisco Classic of going down there and being able to do going down to Aquatic Park and being on the what is the farthest east point of Fisherman's Wharf.
It might have been a long haul, but we're seeing some scuffles here with the Tibetan supporters. They've made their way down here. This is from the torch convoy itself. We're looking at some scuffles, some pushing and shoving, grabbing, police officers pushing those supporters to the sidewalk. So obviously some of them made it to this scene, and there may be many more along the way closer to Justin Herman Plaza.
Yeah, let's bring in Officer Lum. We're right, I believe we're right by, very close to Galileo High School. Officer Lum, can you see? You've got a monitor there. You can see what's happening. You're starting to see a little bit of the protesters now arriving here with police officers. They've made it almost the entire way. They've made it pretty far. But now is when the San Francisco police officers are going to be tested a little bit.
Certainly looks that way.
Tell me a little bit about what will happen here. With this part of the city, where will these protesters be taken? What do you know of how things will be handled in this section of the city?
Well, in this particular case, I think the officers' only interest is to clear the road. They want to keep the demonstrators away from the torchbearers, you know, if at all possible. And they're not necessarily looking for the opportunity to make the arrest.
Is that usually the protocol, try to not arrest, make as few arrests as possible?
In a situation like that, yes. There's really no reason to make the arrest unless the person is really creating a situation whereupon others are being endangered by his activities.
All right, thank you very
much,
much,
while all
Officer
this
Lum.
is happening, the torch run continues. The last person to have it, if we could see the Chopper 11 view, aside from what's the scuffles from the protesters, I believe that it is John Caldera from San Francisco who is holding that torch right now. He is a personal trainer with the YMCA in San Francisco, and he was one of the winners of the essay contest in order to run with the torch.
And that handoff has just taken place with 2 new runners, as you can see there.
I believe that's Robert McDaniels from Vallejo. He's a recreation director in the city of San Francisco, another essay winner.
Let's turn things over to NBC 11's Christian Captain. He's at Justin Herman Plaza. Captain, do you still think they're going to you?
Yeah, I can hear you right now.
Is the expectation there that the runners are still going to end up there?
That seems to be the take right now. Again, we've lost sight of Willie Brown right now, but we can tell you that the folks here do seem to still be gearing up for a big show and a big finale. The bands are still playing, and again, no word that there's been any change in terms of where this relay is going to end up. I can certainly tell you that there were a lot of anti-China protesters out here earlier. They're still interspersed throughout the crowd. So if they have moved it, those folks certainly haven't heard, and the pro-China supporters who are here haven't heard either. So far it seems to be that everything is on track to end here at Justin Herman Plaza.
And so is the volume of people still the same, or do you feel that people are now learning that the route has been changed and do you see protesters leaving your location?
Well, we still see a lot of protesters here. I can't gauge exactly how many have left. I don't know exactly how many know that the route has changed. I'm sure that word may have filtered around by now, but we can certainly see a lot of Tibetan flags. The crowd has